Hi, and welcome to another segment of Pixelperfect with me, Bert Monroy. In this show, we're going to cover some filter tricks. Combinations of filters to create an effect. Now, there are many filters in Photoshop. Some are specifically designed for a particular function, but it's what they do that's important. Go in there and play with them. Try a few different numbers. Let's say you got an entry box, put in a 5, put in a 10, put in a 100, put in a minus 100, and see what happens. Adding a minus number, and you can put a minus number, will reverse the way this thing works. Holding down the modifier keys will change the way a lot of the filters work. It's getting creative with those filters and combining filters that can create some really bizarre effects. Right here on the screen right now, I have a logo that I had to create for Wired Magazine some time back. And you see there's a bunch of little diamonds in there. Tons of little diamonds, and I need a lot of diamonds. Okay, so I decided instead of wasting a lot of time looking for diamonds, I decided I'll just create my own diamond. Now I basically created 4 different little diamonds, because you can see that they all look different. But if you really look closely, you'll see that there is only 4 diamonds. In some cases they've been rotated or flipped horizontal and so on to give me that vast variety that we see there. But there really is only 4 diamonds visible there. So let's create one single diamond. But tell you what, since we have this open, let's just look at all the layers that made this up, just because they're here. Open up just to the end here, we have just the black. I never put anything in the background. I just make it a color that'll make it easier to see the stuff that's on top of it. Then we have the text. Now this is the text that has been duplicated and edges put into it. Because here's the headline on top of it, which is the text with a layer style applied to it. And there's the diamonds on top of that. And there's an outline on top of that which has a layer style and some little tones added and a little extra highlights along the edges and finally little sparkles. Let's go in there and create a diamond now. Say goodbye to this guy and I'll create a new file. Let's go in there and let's leave that size, that looks good. Click OK and I got this nice big canvas here. And let's go in here and create our diamond. So I'm going to create a new layer. And this layer, I'm going to call it the body of the diamond. This is just the body, the basic shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a long, or rather large, perfect circle right here. Hold down my key and create this nice circle right in the center, right about like that. Now I'm going to work large because I want my diamonds to have some nice detail. So I'm going to work large and then shrink it down, which is going to make it really look realistic. I'm going to work very large. Now, I'm in that layer and I got this circle selected. I'm going to go ahead and fill it with a nice 50% gray, nice mid-tone there. Fill it with a gray. And I'm going to give it some noise. Give it a lot of noise. Whole lot of noise here. Just like that. Ton of noise. We've got this noise. Now it's just a bunch of static, right? So I'm going to give it a little blur. Little tiny blur. Just a blur more. Now what that did is it just introduced some grays. Some grays in between those black and white static noise. Now right now the noise is very small. But now that I have all this nuance of tonality going on in there, I can now make that noise bigger. And to make it bigger, I'm going to use another filter. So the filter I'm going to use now is on the Pixelate. It's called Crystallize. Crystallize is going to break everything up into little chunks. And since I made it a nice gray, you can see that it's going to give me some nice even tone kind of chunks. Let's move this over here so we can really see it. I'm going to make it much bigger now. Let me make a nice big size like that, about maybe that's a good size right about there, 62. Click OK. So now I've got these big facets in my diamond. Okay, we can deselect that. Now, create another layer right here, and this is going to be the top facet. This is that opening that you see right at the top. And I'm going to use a primitive for that. I'm going to go in here and use my polygon tool, and I'm going to set the sides to 6. Right up there in the options bar, I can set that to 6. And then right here from the center, I'm going to draw this nice little shape right here, and just go create this nice shape right in there, and make a size that's fairly large, just like that. And let's put it right in the center like that. All right, now, what you see in a diamond when you look through that top cut is all the bottom facets that are coming to a point at the bottom of that diamond. So I'm going to create those little facets. I'm going to create a big rectangle right here that's the same size as the diamond and just a little bit bigger. And in another layer, which I'm going to call bottom facets, I'm going to go in here and just fill it with white. Let's go in here and fill that layer with white. And let's turn off the background so we see it. There it is right there. All right, now I'm going to create some shapes inside of that. I'm going to lock the transparency. That way I'm not going to paint outside of that area. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a whole series of long rectangles like this and fill them with different shades of gray. Let's bring this guy over like this, and let's pick a darker gray. Let's say this gray right here, and hit that with that. Bring it over. I'm leaving an equal amount. As you can see, I'm kind of evening out the spaces in between there. Let's pick a lighter gray for this one. Throw it in there. And let's duplicate it again, straight across. And let's pick an even darker gray this time and throw that in there. Let's go even darker. There we go. And bring this across this way. And let's give it this last gray. Let's go with a nice mid-tone gray. And there. So now we have all these gray tones. So now, I need to spin them out from the middle. Now, one thing to keep in mind here is the filter I'm going to use is going to look at the overall image. So watch what happens. I go in here and I say distort polar coordinates. That's going to spin it out from the center. See that circle in there? I don't want that. Because of the fact that it's looking at the entire file, it's taking in that transparency area around it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this box into a selection by command-clicking on the preview icon, just like that. So now it's going to look at only the elements within that white box. So now when I go to polar coordinates again, distort polar coordinates, you see that now it's spinning it from within the box itself. When I click OK, I now have that shape. I could deselect that, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it into a clipping group with the top facet. That means that it's going to use the transparency information of the top facet layer to block out or hide all the parts of this box on top that fall outside of that area. So I'm going to option click between those two layers like that. Now we see that only inside that area. Turn on the other diamond behind it, and now we're starting to see this thing come alive. Let's look at our background. Let's just turn off the background for a second and say, go ahead and merge visible. So I'll say merge visible. It's going to merge those into a single layer. Let's look at our background again. I'm going to take that diamond and shrink it down. And let's go down here, do a little scale, and shrink it way down like that. And now I could take this diamond and I could duplicate it. Let's make another one right here next to it. And this one I could do a little rotate on it. And it starts to look different from the one before it. And that's how you create a diamond. It's just a bunch of different filters being used for really bizarre effects. It's understanding what they do, looking at what each function is, will allow you to solve all kinds of problems in your daily work schedule. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something from it. If you got something you'd like me to do, some problem that's been nagging you, feel free to email me at bert@revision3.com. Send me requests and I'll do them for you here on the screen. Have a good time, play, have a good time, and I'll see you at the next show.